Alrighty, welcome back to Nick Lenz Comic Corner Classic Lesson Known Classics. This episode number 2307, Doubleshot number 2201. First, we're going to start with some Silver Surfer issues and a Silver Surfer one-shot, and then we're going to conclude with a Captain Marvel Masterworks book. Yes, now for Silver Surfer, it's going to see episodes 24 to 38. Now, the thing with issues 24, here's 24 right here, and 24 to 31 is a multi-part story arc dealing with more of exploration, more officials related to the Kree and the Skrulls make a debut in these issues. We also see the apparent death of a Super Skrull in these issues. Yep. And, well, and of course they have this person who's sort of the supreme leader who's supposed to be a Kree, but was really a Skrull in there for final appearance issue 30. But that's mostly what these issues are. This 7-part storyline. Deals with that. 31. 32 is an issue done by... Now, here's the thing, though. Steve Eckel had been the writer of the book since issue number 1. Yeah. With 31, he leaves the book as the writer. 31 is his last time. He basically is the... Well, it's a giant size issue, obviously, so it's his final time. Then we have Jim Valentino takes over for one issue. Yes. Actually, for 2 straight issues, it's more of a comedy fair. 33 is basically him versus... Silver Surfer versus the Impossible Man in Acts of Innocence 7, so not Acts of Vengeance. But 34 to 38, this is a 5-part story arc that sees the return of the Mad Titan himself, Thanos. And the whole point of the storyline, by the way, we have Jim Starlin take over the writer of this book. How long does he stay? You might ask? Well, that's a good question. How long does Mr. Jim Starlin take over? How long is he as the writer of the book? By the way, the guy's 73 now. So he stays as the writer for Silver Surfer from issue 34. He basically is here up to issue 50. He's only here for about a year. You think it really? A year? Yes, he does his 5-part story arc, and he skips 1 issue, comes back for 9 straight issues, skips an issue, and basically back reach 15. That was it. It's a fairly brief run. The only thing else to do for Silver Surfer is do a one-shot in a mini-series with Warlock. Yep. Oh, by the way, during these issues, Silver Surfer fights a character named Midnight, who was from the pages of Shang-Chi. Yep. Now... The whole point of this 5-part story arc is that it's set up for a classic 90s crossover. And what crossover is that? A crossover by the name of The Infinity Gauntlet. But basically, this storyline leads into the awesomeness that is the Thanos quest. Which has him searching for the Infinity Gems. Basically what we saw in Avengers Infinity War. So he sees Resurrection basically because why not bring it back in Silver Surfer? He's a cosmic character, so of course he make a return in Silver Surfer. Now, in case you're curious though, how long he had been dead for? Excuse me. He had been dead. This was his first time he appeared in a comic book, mostly since Death of Captain Marvel back in 1982. So he was gone for 8 years. So this is a way to bring him back. That is mostly put exactly what this is here for. And to bring him back and set up the Thanos quest. Excuse me. Yep, and this storyline proves to be so successful for Marvel that this becomes a good driving force for them in the 90s. I'm going to give these issues a 10 out. Basically, I give it a 9.5 out of 10. I thought they were really good. Next up we have is Marvel graphic novel. Well, it's part of the same book anyways. It's part of the published in Silver Surfer Epic Collection Volume 5, The Return of Thanos. But this website didn't have it, so I did these issues. By the way, when Jim Starr takes over the book, this logo becomes the primary logo for the book for the rest of the run. This is Marvel graphic novel 58, Silver Surfer, The Enslavers. Now, if you're curious, who's writing this issue, writing this book? Stan Lee and Keith Pillard. Yes, that is your writer for this issue, for this Marvel graphic novel. Now, is this book canon, you might ask? Excuse me. Yeah, this book is canon. It's basically a retelling of the early years of Silver Surfer. It came out in the period of February of 1990. That's when the book was released. Does have a character named Lord Enslaver, who's only here for this one shot. One thing I do appreciate though is that the site, because I like the time period it came out in, which was late 80s, early 90s, which in my opinion, a very good sci-fi that period of time. See this gorgeous art by Keith Pillard. Yes. Most of it for the Enslavers is just basically Silver Surfer, who goes to this planet and deals with, and basically just finds out about very different stuff. And just, the highlight of this book is the artwork. Keith Pillard, I mean, if he's not working at Marvel, he should be back there. Because this guy was really good at his artwork. And he definitely was. I've used some of this stuff already, but you might be curious though. What was this book he did for Marvel? That wasn't actually comic, it wasn't a guidebook. He did an issue of Spider-Man 2099. I have also reviewed his last the three issues he did for Daredevil. Mm-hmm. It was Spider-Man 29 number 36. His first book he did was Thor, number 228. That was his first comic he worked on. That was released back in 1974. Yeah, he basically was here for quite some time. The last book he did, which was, like I mentioned, it was Spider-Man 2099, number 36. That came out in August of 1985. So basically, he had a 20-year run at Marvel. And you might be asking, did he ever do any issues of Silver Surfer, the comic book, besides this one shot? No, he was mostly just a Thor artist, and I've discussed his work already on his work for Thor, which was the awesomeness that was the Eternal Saga, which was really, really good. Mm-hmm. I was going to see more of his other books later, but this book is just pure awesomeness at its finest. Read the one shot, basically, to understand what's going on with this book, but yeah. I give this book a 10 out of 10 because it's that damn good. Next up we have is Masterworks Captain Marvel Volume 2, which collects issues 10 to 21 of the Captain Marvel comic. Oh, I forgot to mention. For the Silver Surfer comic books that came at this period of time. March 1989 to May 1980. So Silver Surfer is officially out of the 1980s. Fantastic. Love it. Alright, next up we have is Captain Marvel. Yeah. So you have basically these fine writers. You have 1721 done by Roy Thomas. Arnold Drake does issues 10 through 12. Gary Frederick does issues 13 and 15. Art Goin issue 16. The artwork, the main artwork, is done by Gil Kane, the 1721. Don Heck does 10, 16, 11, 12 is done as Dick Ayers. 13-14, Frank Spruger. The 15th by Thomas Sutton. Gary Frederick is issue number 15, and yeah, he does the artwork and the writing of that issue. And John Bushman was the artwork. This book covers the period of February of 1969 and concludes in August 1970. Yes, for some reason the book went hiatus for 6 months. Yes. Yeah, first hiatus it went on was basically between issues 14 and 15 for like, it skipped a month. And they brought back there for a few more issues, and after issue 19 it took another hiatus. Now for issues 10 to 18, this ends the Yorick Vogue story arc in the book, where he's like the main villain. Plus issue 18 is a significant issue as in itself. Mostly put in the way for these issues, you have Captain Marvel dealing with these rogue Kree soldiers who are just trying to ruin it, trying to basically just act evil because they are jealous of his success. Issue 11 had death of Yuna, this Captain Marvel's first girlfriend in the series, and there will be a change by the time we reach issue 17. So basically, over the course after Yuna dies, he basically vows himself basically to avenge her while dealing with other stuff like the protagonist expressing a space program. We have Captain Marvel with the guest appearance by Black Widow. Yes, Black Widow makes guest appearance in this issue. I'm surprised this wasn't collected in the Epic Collection for Miss Marvel because for Black Widow, because she makes guest appearance here. Yes, 18 is a significant issue. No, in issue number 14, he fights Iron Man. Yes, he fights Iron Man because he's manipulated to do that. Though for some reason, Tony Stark's hair is very a different color than usually like black, but here's brown for some reason. Yeah, basically, Iron Man is the first non-character for this book he's taken on. The other thing with a little puppet master manipulating him. Carol still wonders about Marvel. And issue number 15 goes into our galaxy. And then, of course, basically with 16, he goes up against the Supreme Intelligence while taking on our Sentry. Yeah, and then this issue is significant because he gets a brand new costume. No longer he wears the military uniform he's had since his debut in Marvel Superheroes number 12. When he does 16 of his own comic book, he gets this costume. And this costume in particular is what he's known for wearing. This blue, red, and yellow stripe in the middle was something that Carol Danvers stopped decades later. And of course, the Minister here that becomes a bad guy later on in the book. It goes negative zone. Basically, All Stars do a brief status quo in the book where you have because Rick Jones ended the century as Bucky for Cap. He was like basically he was a Crip Hulk to start with. Excuse me. They go with the Avengers. They go with the Cap's book, and I with Iron Man. He gets hands negative bands and basically becomes his own book for at least for a few issues. And then the book goes on hiatus. Why? I think low sales. '18 of basically Captain Marvel is basically where Carol Danvers gets the accent that turns her into Captain Marvel. And also, it also kills the character Young Rag. Yeah. Yeah, basically this is his end until Captain Marvel Volume 3 or 4, where he takes on the original Captain Marvel's son. And it's book done by Fabian DeSouza. Yep. So he stays dead for, let's see, the book came out in 96. This issue here came out in 1969. So he's dead for a little over 20 years. Yep. Oh, by the way, after that book, Carol Danvers pops in the book a few more times, and she's dropped from the book. Rick Jones himself is in the book to issue 21. Yeah, I believe so, because he's not in the book very long, per se. No, he isn't. He also has this thing where he brings negative there, he gets sent to negative zone because, well, negative zone. Actually, Rick is here for quite a while. He's here for a lot of the book's run until like the final issue of the book. Mm-hmm. Yep. So, because I think with issue 21, I think that's when the book went briefly in hiatus. Yeah, I think the book put on hiatus of 21 just so you have Captain Mar pop up in the Kree Skrull War. Mm-hmm. The next appearance celebrating number 30, that he comes back in the book later, but yeah. Like, kind of, of course, he takes on Hulk for like 2 issues, 2021, as a reminder of the Hulk. My guess is the reason why they kept Rick Jones in this book, because they just kept moving him around. They probably figured out a place for him. Like, first he was in Hulk, and then when Hulk joined the Avengers, Hulk went on his own. Rick Jones stayed in the book for a while, and he moved the cast book when Cap was introduced. And then with Captain Marvel, he's here for quite a while. And the whole thing of this book is that whenever someone's Captain Marvel, we just bang his wrists together, becomes Captain Marvel, and it's like this for the rest of the book. But this book is fantastic. I love it. Absolute great book. I will discuss in the final 4 books this run, and you might be curious though, like, am I going to plan to do hopefully the other volumes, one feature Monica Rambeau and Genville? Yes, definitely. But yeah, that's going to be pretty much it, particular review. But I'll give this book a 10 out of 10. So next episode, case closed, and who knows what's going to be next after that, okay? Next video. Bye.